What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So we are going to talk about Tesla. I haven't made it yet. I'm pretty sure the title's gonna be something along the lines of "Should you buy it?" and all that. I'm gonna give you my opinions on it, um, but that's it, right? So my channel's well. First of all, this is gonna be more along the lines of an investing video. I know my channel's Don Fron Trading. Trading is what I do for full time income, but then obviously I have an investment account. Tesla is my biggest position for a reason, but there is also a reason my channel is not called Don Fran's 100% Right. So it's important to remember there's a lot of opinions going around on the internet. Ultimately, you are the only one clicking the buy button. And so I feel like I have to disclaimer stuff like that. The money I have in Tesla, it is my biggest position. So I can stomach that loss. Like I would never want to take that loss ever. But should I be just astronomically wrong, I can manage it along the way. I can only blame myself. Much like you, if you click that buy button, that's on you, bud. So figure it out. All your risk management questions, all that, what should I do in this, like that should all be answered before you ever click the buy button. Period. Now, in my last video, guys, I told you guys I had puts on Tesla over the weekend. I was just bearish these numbers coming out. It was weird. It was awkward. Someone else had to actually send me a bearish Tesla video. I couldn't find any YouTubers even talking about being bearish on Tesla. I felt like I was the only one in puts. Like, man, am I crazy here? Like, what's up? Now, ultimately, I'm in a long position. If you understand options, like deltas are the shares you control. So if you had 50 shares of Delta or 50 shares of Tesla, you have 50 hard deltas. Now, if you buy an at the money, let's say put contract, you are negative 50 deltas, soft deltas. So your deltas are shares you control. Hard deltas are shares. Soft deltas are actually options positions. I'm still ultimately long deltas in Tesla, even when I am short this. I chose to go short because we knew the delivery numbers weren't going to be good. And for the most part, we had it priced pretty correctly. They were, just to give you the recap, we missed by a couple thousand. Had our estimates. Tesla missed a couple months, guided that down, and then we came just shy of that. And I am no stranger to how Tesla trades. Characteristically, Tesla has this cult following, which is what makes it a very profitable stock to trade. But man, if you guys remember, the one time Tesla was supposed to do 100,000 cars, it was the first time ever, and it got 97.8 or 98 something. It was just shy of the 100 mark. It was a record-setting Tesla's never done before quarter. And it was like, we know you're good, but we thought you'd be this good. And the market threw a fit over that. So was I surprised at all to find my puts were up this morning after an actual miss like that? Not at all. Do I think that miss is negligible? As an investor goes, that's kind of silly. But I was actually, from a trading standpoint, probably a little bit more surprised to see this green candle. Now, the whole market was up today. So I wouldn't chalk that up to Tesla's record month that they had as far as production goes in June. That'll count towards next quarter. I wouldn't account it to anything other than the fact that the whole market looks like this. As a trader, I can only speculate that shorts covering. We're still not out of this mess. I do think we see more red before we actually do see green. Big picture. I think it gets worse before it gets better. I don't think we're at the bottom yet, like some are starting to preach. That being said, the reason Tesla is my biggest position is because right now they're focused on, so they got Tesla, they got Solar, they have all these other companies, and everyone's real quick to tell me it's a car company, it's 90% of their profits, and I get that, and they think their forward PE is just a little bit too expensive. But a big pro and con of Elon Musk is you'll know everything. Like his Twitter account's pretty active. Pros of that are he keeps that hype alive, which is good because what other CEOs are out there just keeping you informed like that? Like you got to go searching through files. Like he's probably just going to tweet something. Like you would almost don't even need to do any deep diving on Tesla because it's already out there just regularly. Downside of that, some investors won't like it. He'll say something that could offend somebody. He might show up on Joe Rogan's podcast and have a what, a joint in his mouth, a cigar. It didn't even look like he inhaled it, but you remember everybody throwing a fit about that? Like, come on. There's a con there. But there's so many things in the pipeline that when they finish one, they're moving to the next. Tesla's doing everything It's something I haven't heard anybody talk about yet, because everybody's still on about these cars and robots and, oh, there's the semi, there's the Cybertruck, there's all the BS that has never actually come out yet. What Elon has shown off is incredible efficiency, which is why I like this company, why I don't mind paying the premium. If you're worried about the forward PE, you sometimes you got to pay to play. I think this is one of those times. Strictly for the fact that when they're done with cars, when cars are done ramping, when things are starting to settle down, in a video I did a while back, I talked about tech companies, especially the ones that go sit on the throne for a little bit, like Netflix. Netflix is probably so here's the S curve. We could have done that a little bit better. Netflix, I think, is right here. Here's where they took out Blockbuster. Just Blockbuster was had the opportunity to buy them. I think Toyota. Who had the opportunity to buy Tesla? I'm glad they didn't. Or Apple. Anyway, they didn't. Here's what happened. Blockbuster didn't buy Netflix. Here's what happened. Blockbuster is gone, by the way. If you guys don't know what Blockbuster is, well, there you have it. Case closed. But no tech giant sits on the throne forever. And Netflix kind of here, and if they don't innovate, they're gonna start finishing the other half in what's gonna ultimately look like a bell curve. Where I think Tesla's at on this is about right here. Like, this is all the sideways years. Here's where the hype is just getting started. Like, we're still building factories to ramp things up, and everyone, I know they're just burning cash right now in these factories. But sometimes you got to take one step back to take two steps forward. Like, this isn't free. Elon's cool, but he doesn't have just magic fairy dust. Things you still got to pay for everything. I'm glad it's the richest person in the world that we're talking about having to pay for things. So I'm not worried about Tesla for a while, because once the cars get done, now we're gonna start ramping up solar. Now we got batteries. Now Elon's tapping into the energy field. I don't really care about the boring company. That's cool. That's gonna cost a bunch of money and be efficient for everyone else, unless he's got tolls in all of them. I don't think SpaceX will be anything anytime soon. That's another. My biggest reason for Tesla was the energy business. He's going to kick the door open on that and kind of just be alone. He's going to have an open gymnasium. There's a couple of old guys sitting on the bleachers that think they're in the energy business. Once he's got enough battery packs, so how solar works, the giant nuclear reactor, the giant yellow ball, it shows up every day. The day it doesn't, I promise your portfolio is the least of your worries. Anyway, it's free. You put some solar panels out, now you collect that energy. Now, the cool thing about that is it's got to go somewhere. We got a grid. It's already there. Elon didn't have to put it there. The grid's already there. So appreciate that. That's like just stumbling into another factory and saying, I'm going to use this. What he needs to do is collect that energy, because you don't run that all day. There's downtime during the day because you're probably out from your house. But you need to store that energy and then send it back at nighttime when the giant yellow ball goes away. Right now, doesn't make sense to focus on that, because all our batteries need to go into cars. But eventually, when that does catch up, that goes into battery storage for solar, which now he's tapping into the energy sector. And to bring this back around, before I just lost every one of you because you're only focused on cars and the million other things Tesla does, is it's just efficiency. When we're looking at a pipeline, he is not going to just let here's the Tesla car face could be right about here as far as cars go. He'll come out with the Cybertruck, he'll come out with the semi, maybe the $25,000 car. Then we're going to be right about here. But what Tesla's going to do at that point as a whole is that's the cars, and then here comes energy. We're just going to go from one to the next, like an orangutan, from one blueprint to the next. And that's why it's just in a nutshell, my biggest position as far as investments go. Because every fanboy will tell you it's the stock of the century and all that. We get it. I don't know. I kind of think it actually is. I'm on board that saying right now. Your parents, they had Amazon. I think we have Tesla. I think there's too many opportunities, because we're going to go from, the rabbit hole is not shallow on this one. Imagine the Tesla bot coming out, Optimus, the humanoid little thing running around. It says it can do your chores for you. How many marriages? Are you with your, this is going to sound really sexist, but you with your spouse because they do chores and all that. Like, I got to keep them around because they do stuff for me. What if you had someone do the dishes, all that, all your chores, and you didn't have to talk to them? It just did it. Like, that Tesla bot's going to change more than people realize. People are lazy. Absolutely downright lazy. If we had our way, Meta would be a thing. The bot would do everything. We would sit in our chairs. The average weight of America right now is the biggest. We would gap that into the next dimension if Americans had their way. They're going to absorb that bot with open arms. Not to mention, is that bot going to go to work and do your job for you? What if you're in something like production? You going to take that robot with you? You know, until your boss is like, that's a good idea. I'm going to buy 1 million of those, fire all you guys, and just have a couple guys working on these. There's only the up and up. The one downside, the speed bumps in the road for Tesla that I want to say, I wouldn't call it a worry, but I keep in the back of my mind. The politics thing. I wish Elon would have either left politics out of it or just paid a politician's pocket. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Every politician speaks one language, and it's money. Case in point, a lot of people think the government is pushing EVs. There's like a whole conspiracy that the government's trying to push EVs on you. Like, no, dingbat, you're just dumb. Stop looking at it on a surface level. The government's not pushing EVs on you on some conspiracy. They're pushing GM because GM paid the politicians. They're not pushing EVs. They're pushing who paid for them the most, right? Mary Barra, she's leading the EV way. Just after... One, they had to shut a factory. Within a week of that, Biden saying GM's leading the way, they had to shut the factory down. They also had to announce to everybody, hey, don't park your car in the garage because it might burn your house down. So that's cool. That's really leading the way. What? It blows me away. And I really just wish, if there was one tweet I wish Elon, if Elon would listen to my Twitter, and I would just tweet right now, pay a politician. Like, it's not an ego route. It's just, I know it's how the game is played. Just play the game right now until you take over the world. And then we'll call it good after that. Man, I just wish you would. That'd get me fired off on a whole nother rant. Anyway, all of those reasons just spell out to me efficiency. There's some people don't like it because he does take risks and everything, or they don't agree with his decisions or mindsets, or... until that pans out that he is just a few crowns short or off his rocker or something like that, I'm going to go with what he has shown us so far, which has just been a track record of, I'm going to do this, and then it gets done, despite everyone saying that can't be done or that's silly or laughable. He's drove it to almost bankruptcy a couple times. Almost. It didn't happen. So until it happens, it doesn't count. That being said, we're far past that. Because now we're making money. The only option now as his company is what to do with the money coming in. That's a pretty good stance to be in, not where's our next dollar coming from. Anyway, I don't know. Hopefully this is just a long-winded way for me to say that's why I have Tesla. So should you invest in it, I think you should have your own risk parameters. You do what you want. You do the research you want. I didn't start this channel like solving the money problem for Tesla, but when I started this channel, I was bullish Tesla because of the energy race. I think we're about to kick one of those off and we're going to call it good. So that's why I was crazy about Tesla. So have your own reasons. You shouldn't be surprised to see every day, no matter how green or red that is, I am not surprised outside of what I wasn't already expecting. I don't know why you look at it at the day-to-day. But let's just bring the bell curve back one more time. I've drawn better. Here's your Tesla position. You might wake up one day, it might be a little red, might be a little bit green, might be really red, might be really green. I'm prepared for every possible scenario. Here's a little bit of middle. It doesn't matter. What I wouldn't recommend you do is take a position on Tesla, see this the next day, start freaking out. What do I do now? That should have already been answered. If you're freaking out that much, either A, you weren't prepared, or B, you're over allocated. Find the answer and adjust your allocation, adjust your position. But your 5-year thesis should not be dependent on the next 5 days of Tesla doing this, because the next 5 days after it could be this. It also could very well be that, maybe a little bit further. Anyway, I'll wrap it up here. Let me know down below. Oh, and as far as the market goes, I do think Tesla goes lower before it goes higher. I don't care about the green day it had today. My position's up, sweet. Again, I'm checking in 5 years. It's hard to make investment videos because once I make the decision to buy something, I'll buy it and check it in 5 years. I don't need to check it in the next 5 hours. I don't need to check it in the next 5 days unless something fundamentally changed. Which props to solving the money problem. He makes a video every day. I could never do that about it. I would have to be a fanboy. I'd have to just make stuff up and look for a bullish opinion every day. I cannot do that. It's an investment. Like, I literally will buy it and we'll check it in 5 years. Same with Facebook. Like, that's my second position, second biggest. So if you're not rocking that kind of mentality, well, I don't know. You're in charge of your portfolio. You do you. Anyway, I'll wrap it up here. As far as the trading goes, today was suspicious. That green was suspicious, and like I said, I can speculate it was just, I kind of think it was shorts covering. The question is, with Powell talk, we got Fed FOMC minutes tomorrow, are they going to load back up? Like, what happened today, and what's the repercussions of that as far as this whole game is supply and demand as far as a trader goes? If this is an investment video, fundamentally, sorry, I know I told you I was going to wrap this thing up. All right, so as an investor, this is what we think. And if you signed up to Solving the Money Problems little Patreon, you got his bull case, you got his bear case. Like, here's his bear case, here's his bull case. Like, that's how I see investing. I see it projected on here. We're going to be here or here. Those are my case. Those are the numbers I made up and drew in Excel. Okay. As far as trading goes, it's just supply and demand. More buyers it goes up, more sellers it goes down, and that's the movements you see day to day inside of here. Whether you call it gambling or not, I don't care. Like I said, I've made way more money trading Tesla than I have invested in it. I've been invested for a while. Tesla's an awesome ticker to trade for that very reason. But to get onto the trading side of things, today's activity was, again, just a tad bit suspicious as to who's doing what, who's driving this. We woke up red, ended green, pretty across the board. We're in an economic shit show. If we dodge a recession, that's worse news. If we get the recession, at least we get capitulation. We rip the Band-Aid off and we start working our way out of a recession. Without that, I think it's just a long, drawn-out process. For those of you guys that are here for any kind of trading information, what I'm watching out for right now is just these lower highs being made. If it popped up to 715, I was looking at shorting it again. So anything above that, we get close to that expected move, I am going to go short my trading account. But that being said, the short positions I'm taking now, I'm actually short the S&P. I was short over the weekend. That did tag out. So I trail things. So when it turns around, I get off. I'm not in the bag holding game. I'm in the as long as I make money, I make it. Again, I have an income bias, not a I have to be directionally right bias. As long as my money keeps going up, that's what's important. So if we just get a little bit higher, I want to get back in short. But because it is my biggest position, because I do think we're finding our way right into a recession, if not already in one, I think the market takes one more spill off of that. And again, I don't want to just watch my positions go down. I want to have some kind of hedge against it. So I'll wrap it up here. Hit the like, subscribe. You guys know all the boring stuff. Links are always in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video.